All right, we're here with my favorite ambassador now. and Ambassador, I want you to share, if you can, a little bit about maybe some people that have been influential in your life, because I've found that they come in all different size, shapes, colors, this and that. Some happen in a minute at the right time, and some happen over a lifetime. Can you share some of the ones you've had?
Definitely. The first influencers were my late parents, Dorothy and Wilbert Johnson, who were Southerners who began in this life as sharecroppers, but they came to New York, met on their first day in the city, and built wealth. They built a family business that is still the longest running family business in the Bronx, New York,
Well,
58 years old, 4 generations. And so they were my first influences. I saw what work looked like, I saw what ethical leadership looked like. I saw people who cared for their community. So if people didn't have jobs, they created a job for them, so that at the end of the week, at that time, the father could put food on the table. And then later, of course, women joined the Watch Guard security force. But so they were my first influences. I was born into a wonderful family, very socially active. So every Sunday after church or whatever people went to, they all conversed in my mother's house as the matriarch of the community. And we had so much diversity, ethnically, geographically, but they all wanted my mother's fried chicken and lasagna. And we also played games well into the next day. So they were my first influencers. I have great friends, girlfriends who have been, some are lifelong, and they're too numerous to name, but they're about 3 or 4 that have just been on the journey with me. We're about the same age. We're the godparents to each other's children. And so it's always good to have good friends. Most of them I met from high school up, but particularly high school and college. And so I send a shout out to them. They're always my friends. Emerson College, Riverdale Country School, and Fisk University, that crew. And then the Waterside crew, where I lived as an adult in Washington, D.C. And I would say the third influence, I have, a series of them, but I would say the others are people that I've met in newer walks, people like Ingrid Vandervelt and now yourself, and the people who are revolve around in our worlds, that we kind of just took each other in as new colleagues in this phase of building the next level, because we're all now looking at legacy. Like, I'm probably the older of this new crew, but we're looking at legacy, like kind of what lessons can we leave
right.
and what good can we really do in this world, and we're really committed to doing that. The last one, and there's a fourth one, his name is Reverend Rob Shank, and he was, at the time that I met him, he was the president of the Evangelical Pastors. So in terms of political life, it looked like on paper we were in two different worlds. But during my confirmation hearings, Senate confirmation hearings to become the U.S. ambassador, our lives converged. And he is like the brother from another mother. Our hearts met. And so we determined that it was not about which side of the aisle you sat on politically. It was not about who you voted for president. It was about where was your Christian heart and how could we serve together? And so we are kind of now BFFs. It doesn't matter whether I'm in Washington or he's in New York or wherever we are in the world. We're going to make sure we look out for each other. And those are rare friends. Those are rare people who will really go the extra mile against racists and against rednecks and against others
Right.
who will not always stand with you. I think it was remarkable recently in the news where we saw the NASCAR
Yep.
racers who, when they found the noose in Bubba Wallace's tent, basically stood with him and walked to the race line with him. That was the very community I was raised in the summer, Concord, North Carolina.
No
So I
way.
knew where NASCAR racing was. Before it was NASCAR, it was just a dirt road. But that's symbolic, that we stand together, that symbolism that we stand together, and that we're not going to take it from either side against the other, but we're going to stand as one. That's the kind of friendship I have with Reverend Rob Shank. And so those are my influencers. And now today you are now on the journey with me, and I count it as joy.
I'm proud to be there with you, and I agree. That was pretty symbolic, with everybody in NASCAR doing that for all the obvious and non-obvious reasons that
Yes.
they did it. So It's going to be a great journey, and I thank you so much for participating in this. And and I'm sure we will see a lot of each other along the way here.
Okay, go to my YouTube channel though. You gotta watch my show for me. Like me, subscribe, and share.
I'm in, baby. I'm in.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.